Hello, hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. It hasn't been a week since I've recorded. Don't worry, I know exactly what's happening. And so, good lord, another night under your rule draws to a close. With the surrounding lights dimmed, Asterion and you take a stroll through the hotel's unending halls, enjoying the velvety silence together. With the light, with all the night's rowdiness gone, a man cannot help but grapple with his own thoughts. And tonight, the Minotaur's stride is sluggish, so much that you that you must also slow yourself to remain by his side. His gaze wanders to the ceiling and down to the infinity ahead, while his mouth remains half open, as though about to to pour out his thoughts. A silence like tonight's is scarce. Is sacred. That's what it is, sacred. And wise men seldom break it. But as you make your way to the spiral staircase, you hear a chest, rumbling sigh escape from Asterion's breast. You stop and look at him. His eyes shimmer in the darkness, and the contours of his ears flick as his gaze latches onto yours. You alright? Was tonight a little too much? He raises a hand as if to embrace you, but stops. It remains suspended until you until you bridge the gap, until you bridge the gap yourself and caress his arm. His fur, short as it may be, stands on end as if electrified. You caress and tidy it once, twice, thrice, as many times as it will take to purify him.
I do not know.
He holds your hand in his, and then approaches. You notice his scent, faint and cherished. His embrace is like the sea. As wave by wave, it envelops you with its warmth. And his fur, once more, standing up in defiance, is not unlike a school of fish swimming by the brush against your skin.
I do not know what I want.
You whisper all that can bring a man comfort and peace, each word punctuated by a rhythm of your heart and the squeezing of your arms. You do not catch all of Asterion's mutters and grumbles, but you assure him, that's what that is, it is as fine regardless. You give him time, all that he needs and deserves. Meanwhile, good lord, you remain surrounded by that air of Poseidon's saltwater scent. Okay. Even his warmth is radiant, quite like that of a sun itself. You snuggle against the man's chest, letting him know just how welcome his touch is. He lays his nose on your head and breathes in your scent, just as you do his. Perhaps that night will prove itself merciful to you in your charge. One can hope the both of you will dream of the sun, salt, and breeze of a sprawling beach. Dream now. Where are they? Okay. You're going soft, you know that? Yeah, but it ain't so bad. It's the kid's first paycheck, and he deserves some time off. I might not be good for much, but I can at least give him that. A day on the beach, something he's never enjoyed before. Yeah, keep telling yourself that. How long's it gonna take before you give up on pretending you're his dad? Oscar stared out at the coastline with a child's excitement. That's what it is.
I ain't never been to the beach.
It's just sand and salt water. Nothing you haven't seen before.
So what if it is? It'll be good for you too. At least you'll get some sunlight. Look, I promise things will all clear up after today. All you need's fresh air and fun, and some cleansing too. Maybe there's some of that defilement shit on you right now. I'll bet my whole paycheck that by tomorrow morning, at least something'll be cleared up, and you'll have a nice job offer in your lap.
Are you betting for real? You know, I'm just the kind of, you know I'm just the right kind of mean and desperate to hold you to it.
Jeez, can't I even make a joke?
Money's no joke, kid.
Fine, Dad. No more joking around.
A job offer. Just like that. If only it were so simple, or had been so easy for Grandpa. What kills me is that he could have quit, you know. He didn't need to go back to the hinterlands and work with the Colonel. Could have gone to the big city and tried his luck there. Then he wouldn't have done all the regrettable things he did, and maybe my father wouldn't have grown up all fucked up in the head. You could say then that chances are I wouldn't have been born. Maybe Dad would never have met Mom. I know that's bullshit, but it's what people tell each other so they won't have to reflect on all the evil back in their past. So, Grandpa could have come here. Not 12 dead tapirs. No 12 dead tapirs. No Colonel salted their meat and eaten it over the years. No chest full of chewed up bones. No god deprived of his skin. No curse on the land, sending it into a spiral of stagnation. And who knows, maybe Oscar's life would have been better had that been the case. So why didn't he? Maybe it really was because of that damn hotel. He sure as hell still thought he could find it. But he also had a sweetheart back home, Grandma, with whom he'd always wanted to get together. Then they had their kid, and despite all his flaws, wouldn't going to the city without a job lined up be too risky for a family man? It's the same shit all over again. 2 days before, I received an email from a master program, an institution in Europe I had applied to about 2 months before going to the hinterlands, back when my mind wasn't such a mess. I was accepted, was even offered a small fellowship, and just enough to move and keep the lights on. But spending 2 or 3 years there, not earning a real income, would make my debt skyrocket. I hadn't mentioned it to Oscar. Still, it was a way out. If I played my cards right, I could get a job abroad and leave this all behind, or it might just push me further down this hole I'm in. The alternative was looking for a job here. Not an easy prospect, unless I took my father's offer and joined the private security firm he worked for. Going for the masters has its risks, but it's my best bet if I want to break out of this cycle for good. But that begs the question, what about Oscar? I promised the kid I'd help him get his life in order, and by God, he's been lifting his own weight. But with that kind of paycheck, he wouldn't be able to pay the bills. Probably wouldn't be long before he's homeless again. This is all one sick joke, isn't it? It's happening again. A watchman and his charge, locked together on the path to ruin. Oh, okay. Okay. Between Oscar's hooves and my scales, we didn't have to worry about the blazing sand scalding our feet. However, the myriad reflective surfaces created an unexpected burning sensation. Between the glare coming off the ocean, the sand, and the buildings, all of my eyes were seeing spots. Needless to say, I can't exactly squint my tail. Likewise, I wasn't about to shell out for 50 sets of sunglasses to cover the extra eyes, or spend an hour taping them in place. The kid was right, you lump of shit. This wouldn't hurt so much if you weren't being a goddamn shut-in. But this lump of shit's out now, and making the most of it. It was the kid's first beach trip. I had to make it count. Storm marveled at the crowd. Within his field of view along the shore, there were more people than in all of the drowned tapir. It wasn't even that busy a day. Oscar galloped off, swinging and lashing his tail left and right with every lumbering step. I reckon he was getting used to this feeling of soft, loose sand beneath him. 20 or so meters ahead of me, he leapt towards the foreshore? Far shore. Is that how that's pronounced? And sank into the sand up to his shins as the tide sent sea foam back to greet him. He turned back to me, laughing, coiling himself to burst into another sprint, or maybe he was inviting me to follow him as he kicked at the Atlantic. Oh god. I dragged a smile out, kicking and screaming, but the very idea of running after him almost made me collapse. I still managed a wave, at least. Even seeing him go whole hog into all of that wasn't enough to set my mind at ease. Didn't know if I should tell him or not. He looked towards the horizon ahead of us, then back to me, and started to trot over, although his attention was caught a second later by some seashells on the shore. And just like that, he was in a world of his own, collecting shells and throwing them all in a little hole he dug in the ground. That gave me enough time to catch up with him. Good, don't pay attention to the sad sack lump. Don't let me drag you down. Someone's having a good time. Yeah, you reckon we can find a big shell here? You know, like the kind that goes in a spiral. I've seen a few of them around here, yeah. Sometimes they wash ashore. He grabs my hand and almost pulled my arm out of its socket as he guided me along. Yes. There we go. Hey, did you bring your passport with you?
No, I left it at home. I didn't want it getting wet or anything.
In that case, the ear gauge I gave you, you remember it makes us look alike, don't you? People will think we're brothers, or father and son.
So what? Is that bad?
Just saying.
So, should we keep up the guise, Agent P? I can call you Poppycock.
After that, I told him I'd find a place to lay a towel down. He was concerned that he wouldn't be able to find me before remembering my bright green feathers. Still, he tried to drag me into the water. It took no small amount of coaxing to get him to let me off the hook in the end. I wound up assuring him that lying in the sun for a bit would recharge my batteries. He made a few attempts at swimming, the first of which ended as soon as he tried taking a dive with his eyes open. Poor lad. Even if I laid my head back, I could hear the Minotaur above the din of the others beachgoers. The din? Okay. Trundling? Sure. Footsteps, followed by periodic sputtering as he came up for air, and blue hair out of his eyes, culminating in a panic snort to clear the seawater from his nose. For a good hour or so, he just dug a hole, and then two guys joined in. When the tide rose and swallowed it up, they disbanded. I don't think they ever asked each other's names. Mostly, however, he searched for and collected seashells until late in the afternoon, when he stumbled upon a sunglasses salesman who happened to have a conch he was willing to part with. Only for him to find a bigger, better one not an hour later. We had a hunch it was a little hut by sea. Manta ray dumpling. Manta ray dumplings? Wait. Yeah. French fries, plain, right? Oh. We had lunch, not a hunt. Whew, and yep. Yes. We got there, guys. And the freshest tuna this side of the country. Oscar could always eat a lot, and sometimes that habit could rub off on me. Earlier in the day, I'd found a little alcove where I could sit in the shade. That's where we went in the late afternoon, when the kids got himself tuckered out. He took a nap, so I kept a vigil and stood guard. When it started to get dark, we prepared for another one of Oscar's requests. He wanted to make a bonfire. Oh, okay. We had parked the car by an abandoned lot, covered in overgrown vegetation and dried up dead trees. Oscar went about getting some wood and told me to find some paper for a fire starter. Didn't even think of buying some charcoal until I'd already paid for a newspaper, but I still had enough cash for a small bag. Walking back, I took a look through the paper. Frustrating headlines, a cacophony of classified and personal, meaningless horoscopes. When I got back to our spot, Oscar wasn't there. Just tell him you're tired and you really want to go home early so you can get a good start on replying to emails tomorrow. Then I heard a crack. Looking over to the edge of the woods, I caught sight of him pressing his knees on a long, thick branch, trying to break it. Tell him that we should go. It's getting dark and weird. I sighed, such that every muscle in my chest tightened and wouldn't let go. Then I went and helped him. We didn't talk, but just grunted as we both put our weight into breaking the big-ass branch into little logs, small enough pieces to build a fire. Oscar seemed damn proud of himself and bumped his shoulder against mine. First, the second time, he almost knocked me over. As I was crumpling up the newspaper, he asked me to save the page with the comics and puzzles. I felt like my skull was going to split out from the pressure with every new step added to this ordeal. Still, I obliged and folded that page up for him, and that's when I remembered I had bought charcoal. In the end, we used a bit of everything, including the paper and wood. It took until I lit the paper on fire for us to finally talk, as if we watched the flames take hold of it all. Yeah. Burning. I'm burning up like that, aren't I? Just worries. Can't provide anything but eyes. Eyes for bad people. Bad eyes for bad people. Can't stop seeing those halls. After all these years, it still works. Or does it? Did it ever work? Some watchman you are.
Pedro, how are you feeling?
Just tired. Yeah. No, Oscar. I think I'm going crazy. I keep having visions of the hotel. It's just like my grandpa described, and full of mythicals, too. I'm getting more of them. They're coming during daytime now. I'll just be lying down on the couch, and I'm pulled back to see it again. At first, I thought they were visions leading me there. But now I'm wondering if they might just be me going crazy. Grandpa had them too. Maybe it was, schizophrenia. Maybe I got it from him. My goddamn inheritance.
Pedro, your feathers are fucking magic, though. Don't they see shit pretty reliably?
They do, but mythicals aren't immune to mental illness, and for my people in particular, it can manifest as visual hallucinations like that. Listen, if this really is some sort of schizophrenia creeping in on me, if I really do, it can take a while for mental illness to set in, so I might still got a few good years left. But there'll come a day when I won't be the same person you knew. Even if I get medicated, even if all goes as well as it can. When that day comes, if for some reason I'm still in your life, I want you to cut contact with me, alright? It's for your own good. Don't worry about me. I won't even be me anymore.
The fuck are you talking about? Even if you go crazy, I ain't gonna abandon you like that.
That's what you say now. It ain't easy being around someone like that.
No, fuck off with that. I told you, I'm staying by you. You put up with all my shit enough, and let me live at your place, and all of that. And goddammit, I'm gonna make it up to you whether you want it or not. Maybe you just need some kind of specialist head shrink. Ain't there any who specialize in mythicals?
You're right about me needing a psychiatrist. My antidepressants aren't doing the trick anymore.
So like, it's just like being sick, right? You just need the right doc and stuff, and you'll get better.
Shit, maybe. I need to get a job, though. Probably one for my dad, and then I can just go to the staff shrink.
Shit, can you get one some other way?
Didn't you ask if the university had a psychiatrist for students, and didn't they answer they'd go as far as subsiding your medication? I don't think so. The kid's ears drooped, and his gaze went down between his hooves. Look what you've done. You ruined the night for him. Always have to bring everyone else down with you, huh? Let's change the subject. So, what did you have planned for the nice fire we got going? The flame's warmth licked at him. He didn't hear me at all. I had to speak louder. Only then did Oscar perk back.
Yeah, so I hope you don't mind, but I found your spell book.
Were I in a healthier mindset, I might have been mad. As it was, though, I was mostly just surprised he was interested. You weren't meant to look in it. What it's got in there is secret.
Yeah, but it also says a master can share with their pupil, and ain't that what I am?
Well, yes, but you're not even a novice. Most of what's in there is too advanced for you, and it can backfire if you don't know what you're doing.
Not this one! Your note said it was one of the easiest ones, and all that's needed is an object with a spiral, a flame, salt, and an amulet.
Were I in a healthier mindset, I might have seen where he was going with that. As it was, though, I was still a selfish asshole caught up in my own crap.
Your spellbook says magic is more powerful when it's done for others. Is that right?
Rites which rely on the caster's humanity are more effective and long-lasting if done for another's benefit, yes.
Good. I might not be able to sacrifice an eye to start my rituals, but maybe this'll be enough to get it going.
He pulls up the huge spiral shell that he'd been so proud of finding earlier that day, and dropped a handful of salt from a baggie into its opening. I sure hope that wasn't the salt from the tapir god.
So, I have the spiral, the salt, the flame. The amulet I put inside the conch earlier today. So the last thing I need to begin to write is a story, right?
I'm gonna end the part here. So I'll see you around, everyone.